Dear Julia Kristeva, dear colleagues, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to introduce such an international intellectual figure as Julia Kristeva. By the way, it is the second time that Professor Kristeva has accepted my invitation. The first time was when she was the keynote speaker of the conference of the Symposium of the Vienna Festival in 1991 with the title Neue Heimat, Neue Fremde. This is not possible to translate it into English, sorry. The base of this lecture was her influential and inspiring book L'étranger à nous-mêmes that has been published in German language about a year ago in 1990. It is until today a very important contribution to the understanding of xenophobia. This is a good and a bad message, by the way, the actuality of your book. I want to give some information and data about you and your work, and you will see that there are more than one Julia Kristeva. There is a semiotic and structuralistic theoretic. I mentioned Jean Telquel. There's a famous psychoanalyst, the gender theoretic, the writer, the literary theoretic, who becomes more and more involved into the field of philosophy of religion. Julia Kristeva has been born in Sliven in Bulgaria. She is writing in French for a long time. She has explored many subjects, including structural linguistics and semiotics, psychoanalysis, and contemporary feminism. Many of her works and books have been translated into English and into German. I only want to mention some very important books. Semiotique, 1969, a very important book, Revolution in Poetic Language, also available and influential in German. Black Sun, Depression and Melancholia. A central trilogy on female genius with Hannah Arendt, Melanie Klein and Colette. This is yet an uncompleted work, or it is completed meanwhile?
As a trilogy, yes.
Yes, yeah, but it's not all it is translated, I dare say. And she has also written 2 novels. I think this is also interesting. And the books with regard to our conference are The Incredible Need to Believe, in 2008 in English, 2008, Seule une femme, and Thérèse, Mon Amour. Thérèse is, by the way, Thérèse of Avila. Today, Julia Kristeva will speak about the topic monotheism and confronting the need to believe. I think the key word is need, and there is a need to refer to religious topics. Also in the arts, for example, at the moment, I only want to mention Peter Henisch-Nobel, The Lost Messiah, Margarete von Trotter's movie on Hildegard von Bingen, Lars von Trier's Antichrist, or another film, The Female Pope, Die Päpstin. It is a real topic, and the point will be if there is a tension between, on the one hand, the need to believe and the possibility to believe. And but I do not want to anticipate your lecture, and we are very curious that you start your keynote lecture. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all of you for being here this evening. I would like to thank, of course, Professor Dr. Wolfgang Müller, who initiated this meeting with all his staff, to thank Ms. Chairwoman of the Sigmund Freud Foundation, the head of the Department of the Austrian Federal Ministry of Science and Research, who demonstrates the interest of Australian public and politics about Freudian legacy, and of course the chairman of our guests today. As you already noticed, my English is a little bit broken, not very fluent, and to this I add this evening a broken voice, so I apologize for this, but I hope we shall stay until the end and I'll be able to convey to you some ideas connected with this wonderful topic that is the headline of these 3 days that gather here so important scholars from different parts of the world connected with Freudian legacy. The title is, as you know, The Forces of Monotheism, And I added to this the forces of monotheism confronting the need to believe, because I consider that this need to believe is an anthropological universal, and how we can address it and add to it the desire to know, and then to transform or sublimate it. And I would like to put as a motto of these reflections that will follow something from Freud. It is a letter of Freud to Jung, where he says, "The religion cannot be eradicated, not substituted to. It can only be sublimated." So, let me begin with a brief historical overview. When approaching the immense continent of religious experience from a psychoanalytic point of view, my thoughts here, of course, into the surroundings of the Freud Museum in Vienna, are directed to Sigmund Freud and to his genius, which, with Totem and Taboo from 1912, and Moses and Monotheism from 1930, to only cite these two, opened up in my mind a new way of thinking religious experience. By thinking about it, I mean by living through it. I would like to underline here the paternal function of Moses. Freud explored this fundamental axis of monotheism, while alternatively studying neurosis and psychosis, relying heavily on its tragic dramatization by Sophocles and the anthropology of the late 19th and 20th century. He followed his line of thought to the discovery of how the Oedipus complex and the consequences of the incest taboo function to bring about the emergence of the capacity of psychic representation. To say, in other words, because of the incest taboo and because of the Oedipus complex, we reach the capacity of psychic representation, giving access to language and to development of thought, as well as to the cathexis of our fantasies in diverse religious constructions. By allowing us to think that Homo sapiens is a Homo religiosus, there is no difference, but that this construction is analyzable, which means that Homo sapiens as Homo religiosus is constructible, deconstructible, and in no way a fatal destiny. In positing this, psychoanalysis radically innovates our conception of the religious phenomenon. Neither a justification of faith, nor a mechanical atheism, from which contemporary thought and political life have deeply suffered. Freud's thought opens a new approach to the phenomenon of religion. But, and this is my question, do we truly dare pursue it with the audacity and prudence that globalization currently imposes to us? For all that, have we gone beyond what Nietzsche says when he wrote in The Antichrist, I'm quoting, "We need to place a great question mark regarding the greatest seriousness." We need to place a great question mark regarding the greatest seriousness. Are we enough talented and audacious and prudent in order to put this question mark without acknowledging the faith as inevitable and without mechanical atheism? Some of our psychoanalytical models are, or hypotheses, are perhaps anthropological truths. However, I only personally experience them as work hypotheses, and therefore as question marks, to quote again from Nietzsche. And this is how I ask you to hear what is to follow, as question marks.